2009. The question kind of assumes that in 2009 that we're going to be drilling for more oil, that we're going to be cutting more trees, and it assumes this is a bad thing, which it kind of is actually, if we're drilling for a bunch of oil and cutting a lot of trees, especially since there's no consumers for it. See, we're going to see an economic contraction in 2009, probably a serious depression that's going to last several years. So the environment is actually going to benefit from this because we're going to see less drilling, less tree cutting, especially if oil prices stay stable. We should see consumption continue to drop, even though the price manipulators will try to sustain the prices. Now, we have to look at the core of what caused this problem. See, the problem is with the bankers themselves. Now, the people who print your currency, whether it's the US dollar or the euro or the Thai baht, it's printed by a private bank that the government has allowed to monopolize your currency system, and they are engaged in what's called fractional reserve lending, something you and I would go to jail for because it's very similar to a Ponzi scheme. See, a bank only needs $100 on hand to loan out $900. So when you take that loan for $900, it's debt. You have to pay back more than the $900 that you took, and it's quite possible the bank would charge you the $100 they needed to have on hand in some sort of loan origination fee. So that, on top of the fact that you owe more than was actually lent into existence, creates a problem. So the next year the bank must lend more and more and more money to make up for the money that's already lent. The problem with this is that it's not sustainable. You cannot continually grow an economy. At some point, the economy has to contract, and that's what we're experiencing now. Now, they're asking us, how can we not contract the economy and help the environment at the same time? Well, that's not really possible under the current system. See, if you're in debt-based lending, your money has no value anyway. All of it's debt because it was lent to you, and it cannot be redeemed for anything except for another bill that's debt itself. There is an alternative, however. If we let the governments take back control of printing the currency and do not base it on debt or growth, do not increase the monetary supply, we will see a stabilization. Now, we won't see the big buying booms that we saw before, where we can go out and buy a new car and a new home, but what we will see is sustainable economic practice. We will not see unsustainable economic and environmental practices such as we've seen in the past, where we go and we drill for all this oil for this fake economy, and we cut down all these trees to build houses that are now sitting vacant. Sustainable currency is the only way that we're going to save the global economy. Now, another alternative to the government printing the currency would be to allow currency competition, where those who have the most sustainable currency practices would be the currencies that individuals would invest in. These are my solutions to the global environmental and economic disaster.